What's going on out there, good people? It is your boy Look Around with LMD Trading. Hope everybody out there is doing good today. Market is closed today, so no, we won't be doing a daily recap today, but I did sit down and was going through looking at a swing trade that I took a couple of days ago that I'm in, and figured I would make a video just showing the anatomy of this swing trade and my thought process on taking it, and the strategy on exiting it. So let's go ahead, let's bring up Thinkorswim real quick, and we'll take a quick look at this trade. This trade is taken in an IRA account that I've started in Thinkorswim. Just put a few dollars in there, some of the proceeds from another account that was green. So I figured I would transfer that money over into an IRA account and start taking some swing trades in there. So this is one of them that I've taken. It's still open, and it was on ET. Don't really know much about ET, but it was one that popped up on my SwingScan. Usually on Sundays, I'll pull out my laptop and take a look and see what is on this watch list, see what's popping up on there. And this was one that popped up on there. And when I'm taking a swing play, I'm usually looking at the weekly, which is down here, and I'm looking at the daily, which is over here on the right lower side. So if we look at ET, we see that ET was in a downtrend. It kind of broke that trend for a little while. Then it started a new downtrend. Kind of chopped around here at the bottom. And then it made this move. Came back up. And we see that it formed a W. So I always hear the term W bottom. We can clearly see that W that it formed. We wouldn't even have to look at any of the moving averages. We just solely looking at the candle formations, and we see that it formed that W. Another thing that stood out was if we come down here and look at the volume, we see that it had been low volume, and then we got this giant green candle spike. So we'll just start paying attention from this point on now. Right there, we had a lot of volume come in to this stock. Kind of just chopped around, and then instead of going lower, it made this nice move to the high side. And then right here, we get our first higher low. So we got a higher low. We got a higher high. We got this little tiny small higher low. And then we got pretty much a even high. Let's pull back down. Now we see that it pulled back to the 200 moving average. So now we'll pay attention to the blue line, which is the 200 moving average. Pull back to the 200 moving average. It came up. Pull back again to the 200. Now it's setting another double bottom. Then it made this move up. So I started watching this when it was around this area right here. And give me 1 second. I'm going to push this chart over a little bit. Let's go over 10 days. There we go. Just so it gets it off of the edge. So I started watching this when it was in this area right here. And what I wanted to see was a pullback to about this area right here. That's about halfway. And it's pulling back to this little point right here. So it came up. It made that pullback. So now I'm watching this thing daily. And what I did, once this day had formed, I came over, I highlighted that day. And then in Thinkorswim, if you look right up here, this will give you all the information on that candle. So I highlighted it. it told me that that candle opened at 11.16. The high was 11.19. The low was 10.81. It closed at 11.04. And the range of that candle was 38 cents. So that's all good information for me. So this was a nice clean pullback. And now I want confirmation. So this is what I call my pullback and confirmation trade. So this pulled back. Confirmation will be when the next candle breaks the high of the previous candle. So I put an order in the system. I wanted to get in. And again, the range of that candle was 38 cents. So I gave it extra room. And my range was 50 cents. And I was risking $25 on this trade. So I put an order in to buy 50 shares. That way, if it goes down 50 cents, I'll lose $25. And then my target would be 2-to-1, maybe possibly 3-to-1, depending on what the trade wants to do. Knowing, though, that my first area of concern will be right here, back up to this previous high. So put that order in. We see the next day, it triggered me in. It triggered me in. I got filled at 11.22. So we know that the high of that candle was 11.19. I got filled at 11.22. Stop down. It's going to actually be a little below that. We give it a little extra room. And we're in that trade now. So we've been in that trade, what? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've been in that trade 5 days, risking $25 to make 2-to-1 on our money. So either 50 or 75. Or if this thing just breaks and makes a nice move, we can either trail stop it or just keep moving our upper limit up and our stop up until we either stop out or it just keeps running. But if we look, I have a couple of things on this chart. So you see my bracket. My bracket is in place. I'm going to drag this up a little bit. So that's where my upper limit stop is at. So if this thing comes up and stops me out, that's where I'll stop out for profit. Initially, I said that my stop was right here to lose 25. What I've done, since this has made a move, we are in the green now, $15. I have moved my stop up to break even. Only reason I've done that is because this has been a choppy market. It's been a choppy market. You hear me use the term lately, conviction in the trade. I still have conviction in this trade. And probably should have left my stop right there with conviction in the trade. But we see what it did. It came right back up to this area. And you see also on the chart that I have an alert set. That's what this tab is. It has an alert set for 1164. So we see the high of this point was 1166. So I want Thinkorswim to alert me when this goes a couple of cents short of that, just so that I'll know to take a look, maybe see what the volume is on that candle that's approaching it. If it's got a lot of volume, then that's going to tell me it's probably going to break through that area fairly strong. But if the volume is weak, then I might possibly think about just either capturing a little profit or just leave the stop set right there to break even. If it comes back down, it'll stop me out. But again, I do have good conviction in this trade. And if we come over and look at the weekly, the weekly pretty much giving me my areas of where I think it may pull back or it may go. So we see that ET has filled this gap that it formed. The gap was right there where we're at. Actually, a little lower than it. So it has filled this gap. So at this point, I have all the all the belief in the world that this thing is going to continue higher. And like I said, I will just chase my target higher and I'll chase my stop below it. Usually using 30-minute pullbacks. So once it goes and it pulls back, I'll set my stop like on a 30-minute pullback. So in this case, if we were doing that, we see that this came up, it pulled back, it came up, it's pulling back. I'd set my stop right there. That's where my stop will come up to. With the thought being, if this comes all the way down to this pullback, that's 100% retracement. That's 100% retracement. And at that point, I'm thinking that this move is dead. So that's why I'll chase my stop up to that point right there. But this pullback, it should be about half of this move. So we're just about at half. So we should see on Monday this thing continuing, or we may get one more 30-minute candle to pull back a little bit more. But we should see that continuing higher. And that's just my anatomy on taking swing trades. And this is one of my patterns that I look for. And I just call it a pullback and confirmation. So we're in an uptrend. Now I'm just looking for a pullback and then confirmation that it's going to go higher. So I won't buy this pullback until I get confirmation where the candle breaks the high of the previous candle. And this candle, it can't go lower than the previous candle. So it can't come down here and then break that high. But that's not confirmation because it went below it. But now if this next candle breaks that high, then I can get in. So let's say that this candle here did come down below this candle, but then pushed all the way back up and it left a green candle. So now we have a red to green, which is good. And then I'm looking to get in when this candle breaks the high of that candle. And then I'll be setting my stop at the low of that candle had it been a long candle. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. But just wanted to make that quick video. I just wanted to see what this was doing. And again, I found it on my SwingScan list. And I've added a couple extra columns to all of my chart, all of my watch list now, to where I can see if a stock is above or below the VWAP. So that's what this green line is, or these green blocks. And then this one here just tells me if the stock closed higher than the previous day's high. So a green one tells me that this stock closed above the previous day's highs. These are important to me. I want to see that, and then I want to see that. And then all I'm going to do is just click it. And now I'm looking to see if I see a pattern. So on this one, still chopping around. So not really interested. That's the weekly chart. On the daily, we see that it was in a downtrend. We see that it broke out of the downtrend, set a higher low from that point. Then it made this nice move. So what I'll be wanting to see is a pullback or a consolidation. And we see that it pulled back right to this previous point on the chart. So we'd either want to see a consolidation, which would be good because that can give us a breakout, or we want to see a pullback to at least this area right here. Want to see it pull back to at least or close to that area right there. And then on that pullback, now we're looking for confirmation, and then we get in it. So this one still could be in play in a few days. Let's look at ASC. We've missed this one. So this one was in that downtrend. We got the double bottom, got a higher high, higher low. So really, we're just looking for this to pull back again too. This one looks almost identical to APCX over here on this chart, where it came right back up to this point here, but this is on a weekly chart. So now we're just looking and see, that wasn't really a good pullback. That's a shallow pullback for that move. We would have wanted to see it pull back to about right here. So I think this one will chop around a little more, and then we possibly get a good move out of it. And we just use all of our charts to look at it. So on the 4 hour, that pullback don't look half bad. And this move here, fairly smooth up to this area of resistance. So that's one that we could possibly look at. Let's look at ATI. We see that ATI was in a downtrend, came back up again, right to another area, pulled back. So we got just about an even low off of this point. Now we got a lower high, a lower low, a higher high, a higher low. So this one is transitioning as well. So if you notice, all three of those were pretty much in a transition period. They're transitioning from a low to a high. This one here, again, it's making a move. So we'd want to see a little pullback. Don't want to buy it as it's making this move up. We want to try to get it on a pullback and then confirmation. But you see that this watch list is giving some decent looking daily charts. Really would have wanted to get in, not here, but maybe on this second pullback here. So it's good to catch them like how I caught ET. Catch it like right here. Here we go. This is a perfect one I'm talking about. So this was in a downtrend. If we go from here to that point, that was the downtrend. It has broken the downtrend, side trading. We get the higher high, the higher low. It's breaking the 200 moving average. Now we're going to want to see a pullback, retest and hold of the 200, and then we want confirmation. So get the pullback, get the confirmation of it breaking the previous high. And this could be in a good transition. This is where you want to get in at. This is where you want to get in at. This one here is looking good. So see, I had dropped my line right there. Look at that. We're coming right up to it. Even if this goes a little bit higher, I wouldn't really be too mad, so that we can get the pullback to come back to this point right here. So if it came up a couple of more days, pulls back, with the confirmation, this will be a good trade. So what I'll do then is I'll right click that. I'll come to add it, and I'm going to add it to my Swing Ideas Daily. So every morning I'll look at that just to see what it did the previous day, to see if I can get that good entry point. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. We went over the ET trade. So again, went over the ET trade. This one, we got the confirmation here on the 200 moving average retest. It came up. We got the pullback that we wanted, and we entered on confirmation right there. And now, hopefully, we can ride this up. 2 or 3 to 1 might be a little small vision on that trade. Look at let's come to the weekly. Look at the weekly. We're setting up for a nice flag on the weekly. Right there, just about even highs, but we're getting higher lows. So, like I said, this one might do something, especially if the market turns. But we see this has been moving without the market. So that was the ET trade. Went over a couple of the ideas that's popped up on our SwingScan watch list. And we found that one that we'll be looking at next week. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If so, please think about hitting that like button. If you're not subscribed, think about subscribing. If you do, click that notification bell and click all. And we will see y'all again on the next video. Please enjoy your weekend, however you see fit to enjoy it. And we will holla. Peace.